Hello everybody, I just wanted to record a short something about this. At the end of this I'll get onto more fun stuff as to what's coming up and what's next on the feed and episodes and things like that. There's been some major delays, that's been the reason that new episodes have not come, and this is just the latest ones of them. So yeah, the reason I'm recording this is, unfortunately, earlier this week I received the news that our composer, who has composed just about every music you've ever heard on this show, and definitely the music that you've heard across all of our shows, Declan Gillgallon, passed away and was found on Monday in his flat. We know some of the details, but obviously I'm not going to broadcast them here. I didn't really know the guy in person. We messaged all the time. I only ever spoke on voice a couple of times on those sort of behind the scene chats and that. I know a couple of the cast members were also close to him and spoke to him often. But we've been on this project since I started it back in 2014, where I posted up that I wanted somebody to do a cover of the X-Men theme on whatisnowmandy.com. And he reached out and recorded, and the astounding thing is not only was he so good that I brought him on as the full-time composer, and he did every episode back then in 2014 through to the hiatus at the end of 2015, and then, he came back on board. In that time he did the Batman show, he did stuff for my Dawnstar project that never happened, and when he returned he did some of his best work on the Returned series for the Dark Phoenix series, and then in the last Days of Future Past episode. And I was only talking to him last week, last Wednesday in fact. I messaged him telling him that I was starting to edit scenes together for God Loves Man Kills, and just seeing if he was available over the next couple of weeks to record, to see if he would be available to score the thing. And he told me that he was going to be available, so it certainly doesn't seem to have been a planned thing as to what happened. You could probably read into that as to the nature of what happened. And and then I obviously found out from Ryan Craig, who plays Sebastian Shaw in our show, who was closer to Ryan than I was, closer to Declan, I should say, than I was. And he was a writing partner with him and did other projects with him, and he let me know, which is when I posted up the statement on the group pages on Facebook and Twitter and things like that. But I just wanted to record this because it's still very fresh, and he was as much a voice in our shows as any of the voice actors or myself. He composed every main theme, he composed the music, the scores for every episode. Sometimes I had to use fill-in music. Most of the time on the Power Rangers series especially, it was much more stock music and things like that, just because it fit his schedule better, it fit my schedule better, and it fit the series better because I tended to use the theme music a lot more in it. The two cover versions of the theme that I've got with Rex's and with a directive guitarist on that series. But X-Men, he did, every episode fully scored. I was willing to wait, a week, 2 weeks, whatever it would take. And it's amazing that he did those scores in that time for the episodes to be completed. And, this hiatus, due to a multitude of things which I'll get into later, meant that Days of Future Past was his final score on the series. He was starting to work on God Loves Man Kills when all of this, unfortunately, took place this week. And I just wanted to post this up to let people know that, the shows will never be the same without him. I'll, of course, if anybody wants to reach out and is a composer who wants to score the show, I would be happy to bring other people on board. But obviously I will continue to use his themes and his music in this and the Rangers series going forward. I will continue to use his opening and things like that. For the next episode, other than where I can't do, I will use some of his old music and let him be the sole credited musician one last time. He deserves that much. And The most astounding thing is that I found out that he turned 21. He was only 21 years old, which is ridiculous. He was just a kid when he left us this week. He just turned 21 in November, which, if you do the maths, that means that the majority of the scores that he did for the X-Men show and for Batman the Long Halloween and everything else, he was 15 and 16 years old. I didn't know that at the time. I thought he was, in his mid-20s as I was then. But no, he was born in 1999. So yes, he was 15, 16 years old when he was doing these genius scores. I don't know how he balanced that around his school life and things like that, but it explains why he had much more free time over the summer and stuff like that. But I did not know that he was, a boy genius, and that's what he will remain, because unfortunately he had only just become an adult when this happened. So I wanted to post this up as a tribute to him. The shows will definitely never be the same without him, but I will continue to honour his legacy and his work by continuing to use it going forward. So what this is going to be is a combination of uncut, without the scenes, without dialogue or anything, sound effects or anything like that covering it up. Because unfortunately, in a lot of the episodes, to so that you could hear what Sam and whoever was saying, I had to turn the sound down a lot. So you only ever kind of got it in the background, and even then, you know how awesome it was. So I'm going to put a compilation here together for you to listen to, as sort of a mixtape of his best stuff that I still have access to. Obviously, I don't have access to all of it. I'll try and include things from X-Men and Rangers and Long Halloween and everything. I'll obviously try and focus it mostly on X-Men, because that's the feed that this is going up on, and that was the majority of his work. So we enjoy his music uncut, and just try and think about your loved ones and the people who are close to you, and tell them how good they are when they're still with you. Because I can't help but think that had there not been the hiatus that had happened over the first hiatus, and now obviously between the last season 1 episode and season 3 episode, I should say, and this episode, there's been obviously a 6-month break, and I can't help but think if I'd given him something to work on, maybe that would have focused his mind more. I can't speak to that. It's obviously got nothing to do with it, but obviously these things cross my mind, and I can't even think of replacing him yet. Obviously that will come up, but he's been a voice in every show. So yeah, enjoy this compilation of his music. I apologise that there's not been an episode for a long time. There was a lot of extenuating circumstances that's led to it. I only got Maddie, who plays Kitty Pryde's lines in November, which was the last cast member that I needed, because her mother, Jeannie, who was sort of a coach on it, on the episodes, she has been suffering with long COVID, as has her entire family, including Maddie, has been suffering with COVID-19. And that, plus her busy school schedule, she got herself admitted into university, so congratulations to Maddie, was the reason that her episodes lines were delayed. And when I got them, I reached out to Sam, who is obviously our usual narrator, and for the last 4 months or so, until the start of this month, he's been trying to fit it into his schedule. But he not only is recording the audiobooks that make him make a living, but the time that he used to have for free time and for his family and for recording these now is taken up by having to homeschool his children, because obviously that's happening a lot because schools are out and he's not a key worker. So his children are at home, so he does not have the free time at the minute to do this. So there will be a new narrator for the episode. I had to obviously find him. So it's been a long break because of these delays for the cast, and we've tried everything we could to bring it to you as soon as possible and at the best possible quality. Keep it up to the standard of the series that we've set, and a lot of people reached out and were willing to be the narrator, and thank you so much for doing so, and I'm really happy with Brandon, who we've brought on board to do it. So hopefully you guys like that and don't miss Sam too much until he is able to come back, which he will do in the future when he's able to have the time to record again. But yeah, a new episode is being edited right now, as you probably gathered from what I was talking about earlier. God Loves Man Kills Part 1 is being edited, and that will be with you very, very soon. Probably sooner, because I'm just going to have to use stock music. But get back on to what this recording is about and what is important as I record this. Declan Gillgallon, gone way too soon. 21 is no age. And he was a boy genius, and I would like you to take a listen to some of his best scores, some of his best themes, his music, his work, and know that this series would not be what it is without him. I can't thank him enough for the work that he did, and we will continue to go forward and honour his legacy. Thank you.
you.